Hello folks, Scott Grove here with you. Gonna do what I have not yet touched on in this exact way. Today we're going to work on major 7th chords, scales, and runs, licks, so forth. Reason being because I have to hear these things almost all the time, being that I live just outside of Las Vegas, Nevada here. And in all the lounge bands, you know, where it's really the old-time Vegas sounding, everything is very old-time Vegas sounding. So, which means you're going to end up with those major 7 chords. What are they? It's simply when you flat your root note half a step. So if you have an E chord, you just take the actual E and take it down to an E flat, or you flat the root note one time. But it's best to do it on your higher strings and leave your lower notes, you know, that are still an E, intact. So you have an E and an E flat ringing at the same time, but they are so separated that they don't interfere with each other. So you get the or this. So you've heard these a bunch of times. So we're going to go through and I'll show you those licks. Okay, so that kind of thing. It's really jazzy sounding, but again, very Vegas-y. Okay, so you do not get a lesson from me without getting also a history lesson really quick. What the Sam hell am I playing today? For anybody that doesn't know, I'll just come up close since I'll be up here for the rest of the day. This is a 1984 Gibson Challenger 3. They had a 1, 2, and a 3. 1 had 1 humbucker, a 2 had 2 humbuckers, 3 had 3 single coils, much as did most everything right then, the Corvus and a whole bunch of other things they did. Also in 1984 was the one and only year that Schaller actually made this whole roller bridge and the Gibson Master Tune Vibrola. I still have not been able to find the correct whammy bar that goes in here. It's kind of like a Floyd Rose, but with a little bit smaller arm that goes in here, but still the same collar that screws on. So it's impossible to find, but someday. So 84 was the only year that they made the Gibson Master Tune Vibrola. Again, these are roller bridges. Actually, they work well. People will bitch about them, but of course I never will. Here's a Challenger 3 with one of my favorite Gibson bridges. Okay, which you'll also find. Okay, these are bolt-on necks, which I of course love too, with the maple necks. On the Corvus, also in 84, they would have them. Here's a Corvus 3. Again, it would be a 1, 2, or a 3, depending on how many pickups. They also offered that bridge on the Explorers and Flying V's of 1984 in the Designer series, which would either be the Plum Burst or the other finishes that would look like graffiti painted on them, or swirls, or different stripes, you know, like right around the whole Van Halen era. They would be stock on there, but they would put that same Master Tune Vibrola then on those. And the Gibson Invader, you know, the flat top looking Les Paul thing, which just smokes. Great guitar. Anyway, so let's get to what we're doing here. These are just master volume, master tone, 5-way switch like a Strat would be. I'm going to go to the neck and the middle pickup just to give it that Stratty kind of Vegas-y sound, hey. And a little reverb never hurts. Okay, now let's just totally analyze about 3 or 4 different ways to play these chords. We're going to start in the key of E. They're really good open chord things. We'll start with E and A and do those first, and then I'll show you probably just go to like D, and then you can do it in every key after we go to D. Okay, so everybody grab a big drink of whatever you got. Yummy. Okay, so like I said, all it is flatting your root note. And again, do it on your higher strings. Again, we're going to be doing this in E, so our low E string will be ringing. Okay, now one of the best ways to do this is if you are using a C chord. Okay, now pretend your first finger does not exist anywhere in the world and you have to make your C chord again. So pinky, 3rd fret, A string, and however you want to make it the rest of the way here. But your first finger does not exist. So you have to basically do this. See what I got going here? Pinky, 3rd fret on the A string, your ring finger, 2nd fret, D string, and your middle finger actually here on the 1st fret, or your C note on the B string. Okay, so you have that playing your C chord. Now if you were actually to take off from here, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but just take off the C note, or that 1st fret, you actually go from a C, take off that one, that's a C7. So that's the basis of everything we're doing here. Just flatting the highest C note that you can find. Always give it some whammy, or where's my bar? I need my bar. Okay, so it's basically going to be that. So now we just use our whole chord, use our first finger. Now it grew back as a capo. So we're going to take our pinky up to all the way up to the 7th fret and still build that C chord, and use at the 4th fret our first finger as a capo. Okay, I'm going to play all 6 strings now. So you're fretting here at 7, 6, 5 down on the B string, and then 4 all the way here from the A string on down, leaving the low E string wide open. So you got one huge E chord. Okay? And now again, just simply lift off your middle finger. Okay, that's the biggest sounding major 7 chord that you can have. Okay, is the big E major 7. Okay, and that is using the highest E note that you can reach right now and flatting it 1 fret or a half a step. Okay, now the other ways of doing that are very simply the same thing. If you took a D chord and move it up to the E position, just bring it up 2 frets, hit the low E. It's the same thing as your C thing, but you're just using less fingers. And now you would actually just flatten out your finger and play your G, B, and E strings. Okay, and then you have to shut up your other strings, or just make sure you don't hit them. Low E string, and then those 3. Okay, otherwise, you know, make it big. Why puss out? Okay, just while I'm there, that A chord that I'm using is what is called a modal chord. You just take the chord, E chord, and you have everything here on the 2nd fret, except for your 1st fret, of course. You take those 2 that are on the 2nd fret, move them all the way up to the 7th fret, and now just play everything but your low E. So shut your low E up. That's actually A suspended 2nd because your B note is in there. So your B is the 2nd tone in the scale. But it's a really cool variation of the A chord to use along with the major 7s, because you get this major 7. So you get those little tasty things going. So let's get into the other couple ways we can play it. So we have the C chord that is barred, lift up your middle finger. We have the D chord, which is moved around, and just flatten out the one finger. And the other big way is just play an F chord. Okay, so what would you do? How do you do an F chord in E? Well, you could try to take an F chord and move it down one, then you have E. But what can you do to flat your highest E note? You can't. Your highest E note is your high E string. You can flatten your lower note, but it sounds like hell. So the best thing to do is just go up another octave. Go up so you're finally at 12th fret. 12, 13, 14. Play your F-shaped chord there. And now in order to play it with that high E flattened, we actually have to go to a 4-note chord. So instead of here, now we have to go, and now you can actually add in your low note. Okay, so that's another way of doing it. And you can do that all over the place. If you're an A, you just find the A on your D string, or where you would actually play an A like this, you know, just like the F chord, but now you just have to get that one note flat. Okay, so that's a huge part of the lesson today. It's just simply learning to do so many ways of doing that. The final way that I'm going to show you is simply an A chord. Okay, so A. Okay, two ways of doing this, and you need to know them both. Of course, A, you can take your pinky, slam it way up here, and cover the 5th fret. And then they just flatten at one. But what is even cooler is if you have an open A string, and you have this A, and you have this A, so you have 3 of them. So now we have an open A. Let's make 2 of them flat. So instead of A like this, we're going to flatten that A note. And then finish up the A chord. So now we have, and you could hit the high E string, but it sounds so much cooler if you hit the A flat with it. You're still using the root as an A. Kind of gruesome, but very cool, same as. Okay, and you'll see where this comes in a lot more handy when I go up here and take this A, move it all the way up to the 9th fret. But now I'm using the low E string because we are in E now. Now do the same thing. Just take that E, go back one, finish that chord. And then add, not the E, but flat it. Okay, so that's a great sounding one way up there. And just think about that as you go higher. The higher up you go, the cooler these actually end up sounding. When you have that A one way down here, okay, I'll show you those runs and the licks, but same thing going up high. Okay, so it's the same thing up high. It's that same A, but doing the A major 7, adding not the A but the A flat, but you have the low A string ringing. Okay, so and now all we have to do along with these things to make them sound so cool is, see, you've got like 3 or 4 different versions of the major 7 chord already. Is to simply do a major scale. Okay, nothing but a major scale, in every sense of the word or the scale. I mean, just do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, straight up the damn scale, and you're going to end up on T, the 7th tone, Ti, the 7th tone of the diatonic scale. I know you're not used to hearing me talk scales, but today we get to. Yes, I know them, but I like to hide them. Okay, so okay. Okay, so that's what we're going to learn now. And simply the easiest way, if you don't know it already, is to do this sucker backward. It's starting from E. Okay, we're going to go doot. Most people would want you to go. I really don't care which way you go as long as you learn it. Okay, but I'm going to start you backwards. For anybody that doesn't know it, here it is. If you know it, skip ahead. Okay, so 12th fret, high E. 11, 9, now B string, 12, 10, 9, then G string on the 11th, and then finally 9 on the G string. But we're not done, are we? Nope, we have to go to the major 7, which is just flatten that whole thing. Okay, so we started in E. Now we want to end there and finish it up with the A looking E chord, but major 7th it. So turn it inside out, you know, bring one back, hit the low E string, and instead of the high E, go back one also. So we got okay. Now the big thing that makes these sound cool are going to be Hammer-Ons and Pull-Offs. Okay, so 12, 11, 9, 11, 9. Okay. Same thing there, but you're doing 12, 10, 9. But there's all pull-offs right there on the G string. So you're doing 11, 9, 8. And as you're moving that, you're forming your major 7 chord. So I even got more fancy. I'm going back up. So ba ba yeah. Then B, which is your 12th fret on your B string. Then back up to the 9th fret on your E. Then same thing there, coming back up. Okay, so any combination of that whole scale. Okay, but use as many of the hammer-ons or pull-offs as you can, and the big challenge of this is getting those to sound smooth. I'm just picking throughout the chord. And then save your wad, that's right, your big money shot for the end, and add your pinky. That's right, shove your pinky in there right at the end to really make it drive home. And if you have a whammy, it's always nice to use it. Or bend your neck, whatever. Can't wait till I find that whammy bar. Okay, so coming back up. Okay, let's do a full 2 octave scale here. And I'm going to even start a little before it. Okay, so if you actually take that scale all the way down, then we're going to go to 11 on the D, 9, 7, 6, then 9 on the E, 9 on the A, 7, there's your E. Okay, now when we're getting that low, you're not going to hit that low string, or that low major 7. You're going to do the 2. So this one, you can stay right there and hang out during that. But you will not go. It doesn't doesn't work. Okay, so the other little thing you saw me do, and I'll keep adding these as we go, simply going up the major scale again on your root note, like your E. So you're going just up your scale, 1, 2, 3, so 12, 14, 16. Okay, and you can use glisses, okay, or little trills. Bends, which is simply going up to that note, going up to that note, okay, so you can see where this is going all the way down now, like we just did before. Then you can go crawl into it to go back to your 6th, to your 7th. Almost feels like Urgent by Foreigner. Almost, as everything in the room shakes. Okay, so that is the scale. It's just a matter of getting in the Vegas spirit of things. Now coming back up is using, like I said, we're going to go beyond the scale and actually go to the 7th fret of your E string. Okay, from 7 to 9. And then to your major 7. Then up to your E. Then there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then we're going forward with the same scale. See what I did? I turned the D chord into a major 7. Okay, that's why I showed them to you in this position. Hit in this position. This position. This position. Okay, so you have them everywhere that you're playing your scales. What was that? I'm just doing chromatic stuff, which means every fret. So get tasty with it. Put some stank on it. Let it marinate. Okay, so that's what it's about. Just throwing in some flavor notes. Again. See, if you end on that note, going up there, you can even do your D stuff, or if you're using like that D shape, you know, this little scale. It's based off of your D shape, which is on your G string at the 16th fret. Now 17th on the E, I'm sorry, 17th, which is an E note, but on your B string. 19th on your B. Now 16th on your E, 17, 19. Okay, so if you can be playing all this stuff. Okay. Okay. Okay, so that's just doing that. Sliding down to your E position, so you get with this. Okay, so that's all that is. And then trying to find a major 7 chord. So I'm using the D thing, but in E. Play the lick. Hammer-Ons, Pull-Offs are always cool. It gives you time to get your brain together and find a major 7 chord. finished building up. Now we're going to A. It's right there. There's our A note. And use that A suspended second. And then you can use that same D chord looking thing, but in A. And then finally, you're only one fret away from being back to E7. Okay, so now I'm using the A looking one, but inverted and all that kind of junk. Okay, so those are the basics of getting that big Vegas sound. It's a lot of hammer-ons, a lot of pull-offs. Sometimes less is more, as all of us guys with shortcomings will tell our wives or girlfriends or our best friends' wives. Sometimes to that A stuff, then you want to really start having some fun. Let's do that George Benson thing. Okay, so you can do all the octaves you want and still use that same scale. Okay, way up higher is cool because you're in E flat. Okay, so somebody else will be playing the rhythm behind you and you get to stop there and be all kind of cool. Okay, so let's do the same thing. I think you get the idea if you are a fast learner. Otherwise, just slow this puppy down, and that's what that little taskbar at the bottom's for. Just go back. Okay, I'm just flying by why? Because I normally take a lot more time to explain these things, but today I just want to fly right on through for some of the people who get it. And like I said, for those who don't quite get it, just go over it a bunch of times. You'll find this with no problem. I said I was going to show you this in D. Exact same thing. Most of you are probably way ahead of me. Okay, so it's no different than what you're already doing at all. Okay, you just don't have an open note per se. What'd you call me? I called you a big per se. So it's the same thing. Walk up. Here's your D. 5th fret here on your A string, so you can walk up to it. Same as we did in E then. But while we're here, what do we have? We have an open D note. You'll hear this stuff. Okay, so we're just hitting the open D and then hitting the 5th, which is going up to the A chord or the A note. And then adding the 3rd. Or the major 7, I'm sorry. Then the 3rd. Then another major 7 on top. So hammering it on. Hit your A right there and your major 7th at the same time. Do 2 open strings. Might as well. Might as well jump. Sounds kind of cool. playing a G major 7. Again, using the C looking thing, but lifting one finger. Okay, so you can see where you can get really carried away with major 7 chords, but it gives you an instant jazz feel without having to really know the logistics of jazz at this point. Okay, so that is just showing you that it's just taking the same thing we did in the E and just moving it all back 2 frets, but just showing you D. Then flat it after you do, of course, a hammer-on and a pull-off. But we just don't have a low note unless we leave one open. But don't forget the low A string is a 5th in a D scale. So you can actually add it subtly in there so it's not the focus of your root note. So it just becomes texture instead of a note, you know, so much. And that is it, kids. So that is the introduction into doing the whole Vegas major 7th. You can't imagine, even on the country tunes, I'll get done doing like Big City by Merle Haggard, and you'll hear it in every casino if you got country bands. And of course I'm going to do it because I'm there to make fun of the whole Vegas lounge thing, you know. A big city turned me loose and set me free. And you, you know, get the whole sha-na-na thing going there. But yeah, just everybody ends in Vegas. Everybody just these days more to just be moronic and make fun of the way the music used to be in Vegas, and just toss that in there and just give it that really cool, soothing feeling. But you know, the geezers, they really dig it. They hear that and it takes them back, and it's like, oh, Harold, now did you hear that? That's like the old days right there. Okay, so anyway, make the old folks happy and learn a little major 7 stuff, and it might inspire you to do some cool things. And again, do the George Benson thing. It's just not something that happened to come around by accident again later, you know. You know, it's not that the octaves are a new thing. They've been around forever. You know, but use them. Okay, so just that kind of thing, and get them up high. Okay, so anything you can come up with, you know, you already know this without me telling you, to just simply be creative and just use the regular, straightforward major scale. And that's why it's called a major 7, because you're not flatting the 7th at all. You're just using the major 7. And don't forget, use all 4 positions. Again, that's what she said. Use in E. Use the C looking thing, lift off the finger. Use the D looking thing, make it one finger. Use the A looking chord, drop one back on your root, add your pinky. And also use your F shape, and then drop back the root on the top end. Okay, so that's basically it. And then if you want to make major sevenths out of your next chord, your A, you can. I think a sus2, suspended second, which means actually if you're in A, you put a B on top of it. It's the second note in your scale. So if you're in A, you add a B. Sounds really cool, or the way I did before. Or you can just do an A and lift up one finger. Sounds really great after an E major 7. If you're way up here, add the B. Okay, so a suspended second always sounds really cool after a major 7. Anyway, I will leave you with just that little bit of information. I may or may not shave, probably not. Anyway, so once again, Scott Grove and the fun, cool little Challenger 3 from the year 1984. Once again with the Gibson Master Tune Vibrola made by Schaller. And no, they don't have the parts either. Believe me, I've tried everywhere. So if you guys got a spare one of those whammies laying around and you don't have a guitar to go with it, somebody let me know, okay? You guys have fun with that and be groovy. Talk to you later, bye.